Good morning and welcome back to the farm. I'm Dave with Nelson Creek Farms, coming to you from a beautiful 31st of January 2024. And yeah, there's little Gizmo doing his thing. I don't know about that dog. Anyway, it's a beautiful Wednesday today, folks. It is going to have our daytime highs somewhere in the mid 50s. Today and low 50s tomorrow, which is highly unusual for this time of year here in southern Idaho. Things are melting, but yeah, can't get out and do anything in the field yet. It thaws out maybe a ½ inch down when the sun comes out. Underneath that, it's froze, and it becomes a very slimy, greasy, muddy mess. So yeah, we're not doing anything out in the field yet, so maybe we get something done in the shop today. One of the first things we're going to do today, though, is I got to get more pellet bags up to the house, and we're going to clean off this pallet and get the balance of this in the garage on a cart that I have. So that's up first. Now, speaking of the pellet stove, we have had a bit of an issue with it. We're going to be doing a midweek deal here before too long on surge protectors, because we had a power failure out here this winter that messed up the motherboard in my pellet stove. I've got a new one coming. I'm going to be supposedly here maybe even today, and we'll change that out, and we'll explain why on some electronics you're going to need a surge protector outlet deal or a power cord with a surge protector built into it. But for now, I'm going to get this done. Now that the top of the ground is thawed out, I figured it'd be best time to come out and finish scraping up what I missed last fall on the broken glass that came out of the door of the LS tractor when I broke it last fall. So yeah, where the grass or the ground isn't thawed out all the way, other than maybe ½ inch or so, and then it hits the frozen part, I'm not going to lose that much topsoil right here to cleaning up this glass mess. But yeah, it needs to be done because we may end up having a pumpkin patch out here at the farm this year, and this will be right where it's at. And last thing I want to do is have somebody out here walking around barefoot and stepping on this busted glass. So yeah, I figured it'd be best to get it cleaned up. Did you know that I used to just crastinate? But I got so good at it, I went pro. Well, I still have an ice dam over in front of the shop door, so I can't get it open, but I can get the back door open here on the barn. So we're going to drain the hydraulic oil out of this hydraulic pump that's on the back of the Allis Chalmers B in an effort to get it ready to come off. Oop, lost the bolt, the plug. There we go. Anyway, we're going to drain that. Boy, that's clean looking hydraulic oil. We're going to drain this hydraulic oil out of the pump and lube a few fittings up here on the front end of this loader. And yeah, I'm going to get the starter off of it too today. One thing I noticed on this pump is that it is covered in some sort of silicone around those nuts and bolts that come through that hold the two halves of the pump together. Apparently that was leaking at some point in its life, so they just siliconed the puckied the heck out of it. Next up to come off is this non-original, non-authentic rear seat bracket and this tore up slow-moving vehicle sign. We got to get it off so we can get all this plumbing off, I think. I might be wrong on that. There we go. 2 down, a couple more to go. I'm going to save all of the hydraulic hardware I may end up with a C or CA Allis that this would fit. And if it has the heavier adjustable wide front end, I would feel a lot better about putting a loader on a tractor with that over this little flimsy arched front axle that they have here on the Allis Chalmers B. We got the nuts off, and sure we do. There we go. That poor old sign is off. We'll throw it in the iron pile there. Oh, hey, these nuts are loose. I glanced over at them and saw there was a gap between them and the washers. Oh, by golly. Look at there. Weren't even tight. We like that story. That makes disassembly of parts and pieces easier when you don't need them or want them. Now to undo the top two. What the? Oh, heck. I don't know what those top two are just in there to hold that sign bracket. So, yeah. Kind of a cheap job of upholstery, but yeah, it's gone. Now to attack this. The next thing to remove are these 4 bolts. There's 2 on each side, and then this bracket right here that is a spacer for the PTO shaft to a coupling on the pump. And we're going to get all that off today. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be attacking next. Yep. That's what I was thinking. It's loose. There's nothing else holding it. Okay, somebody used a piece of 1-inch square tubing as a spacer between the pump and the bracket that's bolted on around the back end of the PTO deal there for this pump to mount on. And all I got left to pull here is one more bolt. And the pump should come free at that point. It's kind of interesting looking setup in there. You guys can't see it just yet, but there's a U-joint in there between the end of the PTO shaft and the pump. There's the other spacer out. And the other bolt. And let's see, we need to unhook this. Typical city shop, they used a bolt for a pin. Yeah, cut the threaded part off of it, drilled it so that it held onto that shaft there. And yeah, I'm going to have to cut this blue hydraulic line or get it off so it'll come out around the seat spacer here that is on the framework of the seat. That's not a stock item, so to speak. So yeah, we're going to have to do something with that. Okay, get that nut off of there. Here's that spacer that they've made out of a piece of pipe and another nut. Because that bolt is way too long. It's part of the reason why I was having such a hard time getting on and off of this tractor. There. Now I should be able to fish this blue return hose up and around the seat bracket. Hopefully there's nothing holding that PTO shaft on there, and I can just pull it off, which it kind of looks like I can, and this will just come up around there, and there's the universal joint that was on that. Yeah. Stranger gizmos. Anyway, we're going to set this pump over here on a bucket, keep it up off the floor and out of the dirt. There. Now, one other thing I noticed while I was working on this today, as you know, I had quite an experience of buying new rear tires for this thing. Well, I measured what I thought was a 10-inch rim and ordered some 11.2 tires for the back end of this thing. I had it in my head that they were just a replacement rim on this tractor. These are actually factory original Allis Chalmers rims on here. And I'm betting you they're a 9-inch wide rim. And I'm going to have to order some 9-inch by 24 tires for the back end of this thing. But not all bad there, because those 11.2 24s I bought, I can put them on either the Super A Farmall or one of the BNs. Okay, might be a little hard to see it, but there's 3 9/16 bolts holding that bracket on. That's right here. Yeah, one at the top and 2 down at the 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock or so positions. So we'll loosen them up and get that plate off, and then we'll put all that rigmarole back together on the front end of that pump, just to keep it in one spot. While I'm dealing with some hydraulic oil, I'm applying some oil to this cross shaft that stabilizes and squares up the lifting arms for the front end loader for this tractor. I'm hoping that this oil will soak in to these nuts enough that I can get this bar out, because I think the bar has to come out so I can slide the unit forwards, which it does need to go, because it's got to come about a foot your way. And if it does that, it's going to hit here in about 6 inches on the tank. It'll hit the tank in about 6 inches. So this bar has to come out before the loader arms can be slid forwards and then tipped up over the top of the tractor to get the thing off. So yeah, we're applying a little bit of that hydraulic oil here and there to some nuts and bolts just to make it easier to get them apart in a little bit. Yeah, so that's what's up there. Well, I'm also out here this afternoon. I've disconnected the battery and the battery cable to the nut right there on the starter, and hooked a starter rod that runs from here up to the steering wheel. And yeah, this is the plunger button for those that aren't familiar with it. Anyway, Allis has a unique deal on holding their starters in their place on these little tractors. There's a little hole right here. You can kind of see that it's tapered. Well, it mates up with, let me unscrew it back out of the housing here. These are kind of a neat little deal. Yeah, let's see if you can see that. Get it in the light here. Yeah, the end of that bolt is tapered, and then there's a big jam nut on there. That's what holds the starter in alignment and in place on these Allis Chalmers tractors, instead of a old square triangular flange with 3 or 4 bolts into a casting. Those bolts oftentimes, because they're small enough, will break, and then you're kind of SOL. But these big things on the Allises, I kind of like them. They work pretty easy, and yeah, pretty easy to get that out of there. So that project is also done. Now, the reason why I pulled that starter out, even though it works, is there's coil windings in the outside of this housing. Well, they're on the inside of the housing, but they're around in a circle on the inside of the armature that spins. And I'm going to have those replaced with some 12-volt windings so that the starter gear that is in the nose here, this piece here, doesn't go flinging out so hard and fast and hit the ring gear on the flywheel so bad. Yeah, one or the other is going to give. This thing's either going to shatter or break teeth off of this little pinion gear that spins in and out when you hit the starter, or the teeth off the ring gear on the flywheel are going to get busted. And I really don't want to have to crack this tractor in half to fix that. So yeah, we're going to get the starter rewound to 12 volt. Let me tell you, getting to that starter isn't easy. See all this stuff and the bracing and whatever, and the hydraulic cylinders and the uprights and the pivot points and the lift arms and the trip arm for the bucket and all that right here. Yeah, the starter is in behind that right there. that's where it goes. The stuff's right there in that hole. So yeah, it was kind of a fun little chore to get to. I didn't film, well, I did film it, but I'm not going to show you what it was because, well, honestly, I said a few bad words that, yeah. So anyway, the starter's out. We're going to get it in probably next week to the electrical outfit that rebuilds starters, generators, alternators, all that kind of thing, and have them put those windings in it. I'm not going to fool with it. I've tried taking stuff apart before and doing it, but it's better to let somebody have the tools that's a professional, that has the cleaning equipment, testing equipment, all that. Let them do it, even though it may cost me a small fortune. Now, even though I don't really need this little Allis Chalmers Model B, I love small little Allises. I will not lie, I like smaller tractors. Farmall H, the B, the BN, the C, the A, I love them. Allis, yeah, the B, the C, the CA, the RC, the D, up 10 through about 15, I like those. The 17 is probably getting a little bit too big for what I need and like. But I enjoy the smaller machines because I can work on them. However, happiness is not about getting what you want. It is about enjoying what you have. So I have this, and quite honestly, today was about the best therapy I've had in a long time, being able to get out here and wrench on a tractor. I don't know what there is about it. You got to be a farm kid, I guess. Some people tell me I need to collect bigger tractors with more muscle and brawn and all that kind of thing. Well, horsepower is how fast you hit the wall, but torque out of one of these little buggers is how far you take the wall with you after you hit it. Yeah! That's going to wrap it up for this episode from Nelson Creek Farm. I appreciate every single one of you that has subscribed, and to our new subscribers, thank you. And for those of you that haven't, it doesn't cost you anything. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, keep it a little bit short, and the next video out will be of the Southern Idaho Ag Show, if I can get in there with the camera and get some pictures. Anyway, y'all be careful, behave, and have a good one. I'm Farmer Dave, wishing you well. Bye-bye for now.